Sometimes, in the quiet corners of the world, a story begins that carries more weight than it seems at first glance. This is the story of a boy named Amir, whose life, like many, was painted with challenges and little moments that tested the spirit. His days unfolded in a small village, surrounded by rolling hills and fields that stretched as far as the eye could see. Life wasn't always easy there. The roads were dusty, the air thick with the scent of earth and growing things. And every morning, a chorus of birds serenaded the rising sun. Amir's family was humble, living in a modest home at the edge of the village. His father worked tirelessly in the fields, and his mother managed the household with patient hands and a gentle heart. Amir, the youngest of three siblings, often found himself lost in thoughts, watching the world through wide, curious eyes. Yet, despite the beauty of his surroundings, Amir felt trapped by expectations, by the weight of comparison, and sometimes by his own doubts. He'd listen to stories from the older boys at school, tales of distant cities and grand achievements, and wonder why his own life seemed so ordinary. It was easy for Amir to fall into the habit of complaining. He'd grumble about the long walks to school, the chores that never seemed to end, and the dreams that felt out of reach. The more he complained, the heavier his spirit became. He'd watch others, neighbors, friends, even strangers, living lives that seemed brighter and more exciting. The world, from Amir's perspective, was unfair, and he carried that burden with him wherever he went. One day, after a particularly difficult afternoon helping his father in the fields, Amir sat beneath an ancient oak tree, feeling the weight of frustration pressing down on him. He looked up at the sky, wishing for something to change, something that would make his journey easier. As he sat in silence, an old man from the village approached, leaning on a weathered cane and wearing a smile that had seen many seasons. The old man quietly settled beside Amir and, after a moment, began to speak. He told Amir a story, not of distant lands or grand adventures, but of his own life. A life marked by hardship, but also by perseverance. The old man spoke of days spent working in the sun, of nights hungry and uncertain, and of moments when the world seemed unforgiving. But he also spoke of the lessons learned along the way, the small victories, the kindnesses given and received, and the sense of fulfillment that came from forging his own path. Amir listened, first out of politeness, then with growing interest. The old man's tale was not one of complaint, but of acceptance and quiet strength. He did not wish for someone else's journey. He found meaning in his own. Every person, the old man said, carries a story the world may never know, but it is not the world's job to understand. It is yours to live. He leaned closer, his voice gentle but firm. Stop measuring your life against the lives of others. Focus on your own journey, on the moments that are yours alone. Complaining only clouds your vision. What you seek is not found in someone else's footsteps, but in your own. The words lingered in Amir's mind long after the old man had gone. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills and painted the sky in hues of gold and violet, Amir returned home with a new sense of curiosity. He began to notice the small wonders of his world, the way his mother hummed as she cooked, the pride in his father's eyes after a day's work, the laughter of his siblings echoing through the house. He realized that every day held opportunities to grow, to learn, and to find joy, even in the simplest moments. Amir's complaints did not vanish overnight. There were still days when frustration bubbled up, when dreams felt distant and the road seemed long. But he began to look at his life through a different lens. Instead of focusing on what he lacked, he started to appreciate what he had. He found satisfaction in completing his chores, knowing they contributed to the well-being of his family. He took pride in his studies, understanding that each lesson was a step toward his future. Most importantly, he began to see his journey as unique, not better or worse than anyone else's, but his alone to shape. Over time, Amir's attitude shifted. His friends noticed the change, remarking on his newfound optimism and resilience. He became a source of encouragement, reminding others to focus on their own paths and not to dwell on comparison or complaint. The village, too, seemed brighter, as Amir's perspective inspired those around him to seek meaning in their own lives. One evening, as Amir walked through the fields, he encountered the old man once more. This time, it was Amir who spoke, sharing the lessons he had learned and the gratitude he felt for his journey. The old man listened, nodding with approval, and offered a final piece of wisdom. Life is not about avoiding hardship, he said. It is about embracing the journey. Each challenge, each triumph, each moment of growth. Complaints may come and go, but the story you write with your own hands will endure. And so, Amir continued on his path, carrying with him the wisdom of the old man and the strength he found within himself. He understood now that life was not a competition, nor a race to outshine others. It was a tapestry woven from individual threads, each one valuable in its own right. By focusing on his own journey, Amir discovered a sense of peace, purpose, and fulfillment that no amount of complaining could ever offer. The story of Amir is a reminder to us all. Life will present its share of challenges, and it is easy to fall into the trap of complaint and envy. But true contentment comes from within, from accepting our circumstances, striving to improve, and cherishing the journey that is ours alone. When we stop complaining and focus on our own path, we unlock the power to shape our destiny and find meaning in every step. The next time you feel weighed down by the burdens of life, remember Amir's journey. Pause, reflect, and seek the beauty in your own story. Let go of comparison, embrace your unique path, and trust that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. In the end, it is not the absence of hardship that defines us, but the way we choose to walk our journey, with courage, gratitude, and unwavering hope for the future.